day everyone. It's always a joy to have you here at DepEd eTV Eskwela, a program where education continues at your very own television. I am your teacher Mark Art Larabal, and this is our very first episode of TBL lesson. The guidance of our viewers, this episode is for the grade 9 or grade 11 Electronic Products Assembly and Servicing NC2 learners. In this episode, I'm going to share to you one of the most essential learning competency in electronics, in which a repair and maintenance technician must possess in order for you to become electronics technician. Soldering skills enables you to repair and assemble electronic products like repair CRT television, repair sound system, repair electric fan, assemble or repair power supply, assemble or repair auto night switch, and many more. Come, let's explore and study the world of electronics. What is soldering? Soldering is a process in which two or more metal items are joined together by melting and flowing a filler metal solder into the joint. What is the use of soldering? It is used to form a permanent connection between electronic components embedded in the PCB. What are the importance of soldering? Number 1, to make sure that the components can last for more than a few days. Number 2, it prevents oxidation of the joint components for the long period of time. What are the 3 basic principles of soldering? The 3 basic principles of soldering are: number 1, cleaning. Clean the soldering iron. Clean the electronic components using brush. Clean the printed circuit board or PCB. Using brush or clean rag. Number 2 is heating. Connecting parts must be heated to a proper temperature evenly.
Number 3. Soldering. The proper amount of solder must be supplied to a properly heated spot. Number 1. Automatic soldering is an automated system that performs the application of solder paste, preheating, soldering, cooling, drying, and hardening. Example, robot soldering. Number 2. Manual soldering, a method of soldering which is performed by men. Safety precautions. Please remove all jewelry or accessories before performing the activity. Always wear personal protective equipment or PPE like face mask, and eye protective equipment like clear glasses or goggles. Avoid or no eating or drinking in the working area. Always read the user's manual in order for you to familiarize the specification of your tool. I recommend use 30-watt soldering iron. Soldering iron stand, sponge, rag, flux cord solder, and electronic components. Always put the soldering iron in the soldering iron stand when you are not soldering. Always wash your hands with soap immediately after soldering. Washing hands properly will prevent dirt, viruses, and bacteria spreading to other people, surfaces, and objects.
And lastly, do not work alone without the guidance of your parents, your guardians, or older siblings. If accidents happen, no one will see you. Always remember, safety first.
Prepare to solder. Number 1. Put the wet sponge in the soldering iron stand before plugging. The soldering iron will take few minutes to reach its operating temperature of about 400 degrees Celsius. Number 2. Wait a few minutes for the soldering iron to warm up. You can check if it is ready by trying to melt a little solder on the tip. Number 3. Wipe the tip of the iron on the damp sponge. This will clean the soldering iron tip. Number 4. Melt a little solder on the tip of the iron. It will help the heat to flow from the iron's tip to the joint. It only needs to be done when you plug in the iron, and occasionally, while soldering, you need to wipe the tip on the sponge. Put the soldering iron back in the soldering iron stand. Making a solder joint. Step number 1. Clean the soldering iron tip by melting solder on it. Then wipe off the extra solder onto the sponge. This gives the solder tip a good wetting. Step number 2. Touch the side of the soldering iron to the joint so that it contacts both the wire and the plated hole. Step number 3. Apply the solder so that it touches the wire and the plated hole on the side opposite where the iron is touching. Hold it there until the solder melts and flows to cover the plate and wire. Step number 4. Remove the solder wire from the joint. Step number 5. Remove the soldering iron from the joint. The shape of the joint should look like this. Examples of how the joint should look and common problems. preparing soldering iron. Number 1. Place the soldering iron in its stand and plug in. Number 2. Dampen the sponge in the stand. Step number 3. Wait a few minutes for the soldering iron to warm up. Step number 4. Wipe the tip of the iron on the damp sponge. Step number 5. Melt a little solder on the tip of the iron. Steps in making a solder joint. Step number 1. Pin the soldering iron tip by melting solder on it. Then wipe off the extra solder onto the sponge. Step number 2. Touch the side of soldering iron to the joint so that it contacts both the wire and the plated hole. Step number 3. Apply the solder so that it touches the wire and the plated hole on the side opposite where the iron is touching. Hold it there until the solder melts and close to cover the plate and wire. Step number 4. Remove the solder wire from the joint. And step number 5. Remove the soldering iron from the joint. Items quiz. Write your answer in your notebook. Part 1. Fill in the box. 5 points.
That's good.
The quiz will start in Number 1. What do you call is the process in which two or more electronic metal items are joined together? Answer: soldering. Congrats, you've got the correct answer. Number 2. Always do this to your hands before and after activity to prevent dirt, bacteria, and viruses. Answer: wash. Congrats, you've got the correct answer. Number 3. It is used to clean the tip of the soldering iron. Answer: sponge. Congrats, you've got the correct answer. Number 4. What kind of soldering is performed by men? Answer: manual. Congrats, you've got the correct answer. Number 5. Always wear blank during soldering activity. Answer: PPE. Congrats, you've got the correct answer. Part 2. Number the correct procedures. 5 points. Instruction. Read the jumbled procedures in preparing soldering iron. Write your answer from number 1 to 5 according to its proper order in your notebook. Answer. Number 1. Place the soldering iron in its stand and plug in. Number 2. Dampen the sponge in the stand. Number 3. Wait a few minutes for the soldering iron to warm up. Number 4. Wipe the tip of the iron on a damp sponge. And number 5. Melt a little solder on the tip of the iron. Congrats! You've got all the correct procedures. Activity Challenge. Create artwork made out of electronic scrap materials or working electronic components, applying safety precautions and quality standard in proper soldering technique. Direction. Using different components and scraps, make at least 3 outputs from the examples given or your own unique design. Please refer to the demonstration skills rubric in your module for your reference.
Okay, good morning. Nandito po ako sa Roger Electronic Shop. Ngayon kasama ko po si Sir J. Lord Fontanilla. Ngayon, tanong po natin sa kanya kung ano yung importance ng soldering skill sa isang or bilang isang electronics technician. Sir, ano pong masasabi niyo?
Importante yun sa soldering iron para makatanggal at makakabit ng PS sa PCB.
Ano naman po yung pwede nyo may advice po sa ating mga estudyante bilang isang electronics, 23 years electronics technician?
Ang may advice ko lang sa ating mga estudyante para magtaga-taga lang sir na mag-repair. Hindi may nilip.
Okay. Okay, maraming salamat Sir Gillard. Good day everyone, kasama ko si Mr. Jerwin Domingo. Isa siyang estudyante ko rin way back 2011. Isa po siyang 8 years technician na dito sa Isabela Electronics. Ngayon, tanong natin sa kanya kung gaano kahalaga ang soldering skill sa isang technician.
Mahalaga ang soldering skill sa isang technician. Kung hindi mo alam gamitin ito, hindi ka matatawag na isang technician. Dahil dito, kung alam mong gamitin ito yung soldering skill, makakapag-repair ka ng maayos.
Tanong naman natin si Jerwin, anong may papayo na sa ating mga electronics students? Jerwin, anong may papayo mo sa kanila?
Mga advice ko sa mga electronic student, sa una, mahirap pa lang mag-inang. Sa bandang huli, masasanay ka din naman din.
I hope that you enjoy and learn a lot of practical things. Always say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Again, this is Teacher Mark Reyes Clarabal, dito lang sa DepEd TV. See you in the next episode. So God bless and thank you for watching. To God be all the glory. See ya.